Welcome, everybody. I'm really happy to have everyone here tonight. It's exciting to have so many of you on to learn about our annual information reporting. So as Charlene had indicated, we have Kathy Smith as our moderator. Tim, who is our new website coordinator, will be joining us in a few minutes. Of course, on the night that you have a session, you end up running a few minutes late because of an emergency at work. So we are going to do our best until he gets on. So tonight we're going to talk about access requests and password resets to the Garden Ontario Secure Forms section. We're going to talk about our annual information reporting form, saving an annual information report to complete later, tips and tricks for societies and clubs support. We're going to briefly touch on our 50-50 draws through Raffle Box, and then I'm going to hand it back over to Charlene, and she's going to speak on grants and our awards program. So to get started on our annual information reporting, you need to be able to get logged into our system. So on our Garden Ontario website, we have a login here in the upper left corner of our page where you see Garden Ontario, which is this section right here. I'm going to just pause here. Tim, are you on? Just going to pause for 1 sec. I'll keep going. Gavin, if you're able to unmute him, that would be great. So in this login section at the top here, you're going to see your login username and password. And so once you have your login and password set, this is where you will come. You'll click this login button in the upper left, and it will open up this section right here for you to put a login and password. So if you have forgotten your password from last year and you're not able to get in, you can click this forgot your password button. And here is if you need a new account, you've never had an account here through the OHA, this is where you will click. Are you on now, Tim?
Yeah, I am here.
Do you want to take a
while, so it's a little bit difficult.
That's okay, I'll keep going.
You're doing great.
Great, thanks, Tim. So to change a password, this is this section here, forgot your password. So this will take you into this section. So enter your email address and click get new password. And so that will send a notification to Tim that you are looking to get your password reset. If you are a new user, when you click that button in the bottom left, this form here will populate and you'll need to fill out this information in order for him to have enough detail in order to set up an account for you on that back-end password protected section of the site. So for your annual information, do you have something to add, Tim?
I want to make one quick note about the password reset.
Sure.
When you click on that password reset, you will get an email, and then in that email we'll have a link to go and enter in a new password.
Excellent, thank you.
You're welcome.
And when you set up a new account, will they also get an email?
That is correct.
Excellent, thanks, Tim. So when you are set with your login and password, and now you can start working on this now. Our deadline is February for our OHA annual information reporting. February 1st is the deadline. You can start putting those in if you have already had your society AGM and you know who your new board is and you know who's going to be accountable for this work. You can start this now and get those passwords set up. That way it saves Tim hundreds of requests all at one time. So if you can start that work now, that would be great. So when you come to this page, you're going to come to this here where it says OHA Society Annual Report Entry, where I have it circled. So you'll click that. And I'm going to go into the page. I'm going to flick over until our website. So we're going to go in. Can you see the web page? Charlene?
Yes, Kelly.
Thank you. So when you go into the page, I'm going to just log in. So I'm going to pretend I'm a society. So we're going to go in, and so we're going to start our annual information reporting for the year. So it's got some helpful tips here. Do not use all caps. Use the actual membership number for 2022. Mandatory fields are noted with a red asterisk, so those will be obvious as you go through the report. So let's put in a dummy report, if you will. So we're going to say we're in District 10. That's my district. So our legal society name, word here, is the ABC 123 Flower Society. So if you have a society name, some societies have their official, you know, blah, 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 Horticultural Society or Horticultural and Garden Club. That is your legal society name, but some of you have decided to use, you know, blah, 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 gardeners or something of that effect. You can put both in here. That way we know what you're known as. So we're going to say we're the happy gardeners. That's what we're known as here in our area.
Kelly,
Yes,
it's Kathy, I have a couple of questions about access. Would
sure.
you like them
Yeah,
now?
we can pause and take those now.
Okay, what if you already have an account but require other access?
To do your annual information reporting,
Yes.
you could send an email to the website coordinator if there is additional access required. And then he can look at that and make sure you have what you need. I would, anything that is of that nature where you need to contact him and ask for a change, we would ask that you copy the president or the vice president or co-presidents on that email. That way we know it's legitimate and we can move forward with the request.
Next question, can more than one society board member have access to the website, i.e. username and password?
So you may only have one username and password per person. That doesn't mean that a society can't have more than one person with access though. You could have one main person and a backup, for example, but it is one login and password per person. It's unique to your email account.
How many people per society can have an account?
It really depends on how much work. So you may have somebody that is accountable for taking care of the website, for example, and then you may have somebody that is accountable for doing the annual society information report. It's always good to have a backup. With that said, I don't think everyone on the board needs to have access. I think these are designated roles within a board, but having a backup and a redundancy plan is always a good idea.
That's all the questions for now, Kelly.
Tim, do you have anything to add? Well, as in marriage, I guess I'll accept silence as acceptance. So let's continue on. Our founding year is we'll just say 87. Our flower emblem, oh, let's be dangerous. We're going to be the dandelion. Annual scholarship. So if your society provides an annual scholarship to whether it's a college, a university, to a public school or high school, this is where we would like to know that information. This helps us to compile a master list. Over the years, our officers, past presidents, have stepped up and had to have meetings with the minister, with various individuals within OMAFRA to bring forward discussions around the value that societies have across the province, why we need to continue with grants and other things that support the societies. And so this helps us to be able to speak to that. We can very quickly tell whether it's the minister or anyone else on OMAFRA how much from an annual scholarship perspective that our societies put forward. So if you have a youth program, this is where you would indicate your youth program. So we'll say yes. So we're going to go to next. So our mailing address. So this is the society's actual mailing address. So I'm going to say it's 123 Smith Street. And you can hit the tab key. The tab key will take you to your various fields. And then it's very quick to tab through. So your main society email address. And so this is where I need your email address for subscribe to garden related information. So this is not OHA specific information or district information. This is where we might have received information on gardening coupons or discount codes, or we have heard of bus tours or other third-party promotions or materials that would be of interest. This is where I need to have that information from you so I know where I can send that. So a Maine Society phone.
Kelly, I have a question about scholarship.
Sure.
Is scholarship the same as bursary, and is a grant to a school annually counted as a bursary?
A bursary or a grant is fine. You can put them in both of those fields. It is an outlayment of a financial support to an individual. Did that answer the question? What was part B of that, Kathy, again, please?
Is a grant to a school annually counted as a bursary?
I would say yes. It is an outlayment yearly of funds. So your Maine Society fax, if you don't have a fax, most societies don't today. You don't need to put anything in there. So a society website, please use your URL if different from Garden Ontario. Some societies have a unique society website that they have done outside of the Garden Ontario page for whatever reason. And so this is where you would put that in case we need to find that for some reason. So one change for our Trillium is our email subscription. So starting in January of 2023, no new or renewed hard copy subscriptions will be offered. Current subscriptions will be honored. So what that means is that the Trillium will only be available via email. So we currently have some Trillium subscriptions out there right now for hard copy. Those will be honored, but we will not be taking any new or renewed subscriptions. We'll be moving to an electronic format only. So it'll be available through our Garden Ontario website, and it will also be sent out through email to all of the societies and clubs. So this is where you would put the email address for who's going to receive that. So one change on our form this year is how does your society govern? So some societies have a very traditional structure where we have a president and then a vice president, a second vice president, and so on and so forth. And then we also have a handful of societies across the province that are being governed by a committee. They don't have any one individual that was able to step up into one of those positions. So they've decided to do it either as an interim or a longer term structure by going with a committee. So in that case, you would choose how your society governs. This allows us to better manage when we're sending emails. Part of the problem is that if we don't allow you to choose by committee, we're not able to get that contact information because a committee doesn't fit the president field. It doesn't fit the vice president field. So we would ask you to choose which how you govern. So committee main contact would be the same equivalent to a president, for example. So we need a contact, regardless of how you govern, to send out important information to the society. So we need somebody to act as that committee main contact. So we're going to ask you to fill that in if that's how you govern. I'm going to just pause there. Are there extra questions on that, Kathy?
Not right now.
Okay, so we're going to say we're the traditional format. So our president is gymnastics. And so we're going to put his information in. Okay, our postal code. So do you have a co-president? And so this is where you may have two individuals. Say somebody has decided that I'm going to take the first half of the year and somebody's going to take the second half of the year, or every other month. I have seen this work even in my own society for a period of time when we had somebody that decided that or agreed they would step up into the president role, but needed somebody to act as a co-president in order for them to be able to go to Florida for the winter. So that worked out really well. The OHA and OMAFRA is very supportive of societies trying to make sure that they have a board and a structure there to support the work of the society. And so if you have questions related to it, I know Charles is always happy to help and support those questions and provide answers. The rest of our officers are as well. So don't feel like you can't reach out to us if you have questions around how that might work, or if you're struggling as a society. A number of us, including your district director, can answer some of those questions. We also have regional representatives for the OHA for the Northeast and the Southwest that can definitely act as resources if you have questions. So some of you have secretaries and treasurers that hold one position, and some of you have two. So in this one, we're going to say we have a secretary as one position and a treasurer as a separate position. So as you can see, I can move through these fields very quickly by just using my tab key. Having all this information in advance of starting is very helpful. I'm going to touch on it again, and I will reiterate it when we get to the slide. It is very important that you pause before you start this work and find out from your officers as well as your board members who are going to be in this form, their current contact information. So we're going to go to next. Each year, once all of this comes in, I pull this information into one master spreadsheet. I work with the website coordinator, and that information is pulled into a massive spreadsheet. And then we take that information and we create contact lists. And so from that, that's where I pull the information out for emails. So I would ask you not to put information in there as far as contact emails if it is not the one you want to be contacted at. If you think, well, I gave her that information last year, no, you need correct information in the report in order for the right email to be used. When are society meetings? Yes?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Will last year's names pop up, or do we have to enter everybody all over again?
I don't believe last year's names will pop up. It is a clean form each year. But as you see, it is very fast. So a society would probably have an updated contact list for their officers and their board members, so they can populate this very quickly. So when are your society meetings? So if it's the third Thursday, that's what you can put. Are your regular meetings held at the same location? Yes. I know for us, at our home society, we have the same church area that we use every month.
I have a question.
Sure.
Now, pretend you have to leave this site and want to finish tomorrow. What do you do?
I will get to there before we wrap up. I will show you how to save
Okay.
and how you can access that, okay? We will get to that, but thank you for bringing that forward. For membership fees, some societies, it is a per person rate. Some societies have a family rate. Some do it otherwise. So our society, and I know with this one here, we pay $15 each. If you do something different, you can put it in the other and then tell me what it is. So if we have anything special related to our next field, which is on anniversary and our special events, this is where you can give us a brief statement on something that you did special. So I'm just going to put in some text. So we're going to go to next. So this is where we talk about our fiscal year end. So it makes sense for you not to complete this form until you've completed your 2022 AGM. So if that happens to be, November 17th. Please wait until after November 17th to complete this because this field requires the date. So you can go here and I'm going to say our AGM was, we'll say yesterday. This is our fiscal year end. So we'll say that our fiscal year end ended September 30th and our AGM was last night. So the reason we ask for your fiscal year end, that allows us to make sure that the date of the AGM happens after the fiscal year end. It's always good to make sure you are not right up against December 31 because it makes it very challenging to get some of those AGMs in before the February 1st deadline. It's also quite challenging in some of those winter months for societies to pull their members together in order to host an AGM with potentially bad weather. For our adult membership numbers, we would like you to enter the adult membership for the year 2022. So this year's OMAFRA report should reflect your numbers for the previous year 2022. So our OMAFRA numbers and our OHA numbers should match. So one key point to note is the adult membership number must include life members and new members. So we're in this one, we're going to say we have 125. We have 5 life members. And for any of you who aren't sure what a life member is somebody who you are bestowing this honor to. They don't typically pay a membership fee. The society typically does that for them. Even if it's $1, it ensures that insurance coverage is provided for the life member. And they have voting rights because they're a paid member. So that's a life member. New members are people who you have not had previously as a member of your society. And so this is where we would capture it. So we're going to say we had 10. So out of the 125, 5 are life members and 10 are new members. And so these numbers are factored into this number of 125. Any questions, Kathy?
No.
Okay, thank you. So society events held. So this is where you can tell us, did you do a bus tour? In ours, we did a plant sale and we did a garden tour this year. We didn't get into, we did community work as well. We didn't do a bus tour this year. So we are asking in this next section about pandemic restrictions. So as things have lessened as far as restrictions, we are looking to see what has the impact been? How have you managed to come out of the pandemic? And these are really important questions for us as we have continued conversations with OMAFRA to ensure that they understand that it is not a flick of a switch and that societies of 100% just, snap of a finger have completely resumed their membership numbers and the work that they were doing. This takes time to recover. So this helps us to continue those conversations to ensure that societies continue to get their grants. So this is where you can tell us about bus tours, community work, flower shows. Did the pandemic as it came out, did you have to do anything special for this? So we're just going to put something in here. And then
Kelly,
this
I
is
have a question.
Yeah.
Is it the membership number at the end of your fiscal year?
Yes. So if your fiscal year ended October 30, it would be what your membership number was as of October 30, starting or September 30, whatever your end day is, that's the number that you need to use. As of the next day, that's the first day of your next fiscal year. So that those memberships, if they came in the next day, would be for the next year. Okay.
Have we always had to separate new versus old members?
Yes, or at least the last 5 to 7 years we have. It allows us as the OHA as well as district directors to very quickly see who in their district is potentially doing innovative things. Are they trying different things? As an OHA, from a district perspective, we track new membership numbers. And so there's actually an OHA award from a district perspective that allows us to recognize who had the most new members. It's a good opportunity from a discussion point of view for the district directors to understand who has like a substantial amount of new members, because that means they've done something. Usually it doesn't just happen overnight. They've done something. There's been an initiative within their community. They've tried door hangers or they've done something. Most societies are not so cram-packed that we can't share that information with one another. And so it's a good opportunity for us to learn from one another and grow membership across all of our societies.
Is a member considered new if they did not have a membership the year before, but did have it 2 years ago?
You're kind of splitting hairs. If you want to list them as a new member, that's fine. If you want to list them as just a renewal, that's fine. Yeah, it's just, I would just ask for consistency. I guess you would say they're a new member if they've allowed their membership to default, then I guess you could say that that would be considered a new member.
And a note on the pandemic, restrictions lessen, not lessen. This might cause a problem for some understanding the question.
So as pandemic restrictions lessen, which means as we start to take back restrictions, meaning you can have groups larger than 50, you can have people indoors, you can choose to wear a mask or not wear a mask, vaccination mandates, that's what it means by lessening.
Ellie, the way it's written in the chat is basically it should be LESSEN, not ON is what they're saying.
Oh, well, I'm not too worried about an E versus an O, but
No,
thank you for bringing that forward. So for fundraisers, we would like to hear about any outstanding or unusual fundraisers that you did. That would be of interest. It helps, again, the district directors to see kind of what's going on in their district. Highlight, summarize last year's outstanding and noteworthy event. So we have limited this to 550 characters. So you have to be really succinct with your report. This allows our annual information report, our historical group who put together the reports for the OHA. They've done it the last 2 years. This has allowed them to be able to quite efficiently put together this book for all of the societies across the province. Is there a question? Saw a hand.
No?
So from a financial impact perspective, did your society make money? Did it break even or did you lose money? So we're going to say we made money. So if you had something else that you maybe carried out, maybe you did something virtually that was of special recognition that you'd like to bring forward or let us know about, you can let us know that here. Did we have to put anything on hold or did we have to cancel anything? A number of societies have had to cancel specific events because of restrictions. So we're going to go to next. So here's our scholarship report. So this is where you can provide the name. So we're going to say Fanshawe College in the City of London. We gave one and it was valued at $500.
Kelly, I have a question about made money. Does that equal grants as well, or just funds generated by the society?
That's just your overall. We don't get too far into the weeds. OMAFRE typically requires much more detail when it comes to your finances. This is, and at the end of this is the bottom line, whether you made money or you lost money, it would include everything up to that point. So we don't get into breaking it apart from what I got as a grant to what we made from a plant sale. It is just very high level for us. We don't need to get too far in for that.
Is there a space for more than one scholarship given?
Yes, I don't know if you can see it here on the screen. There is a field here with a plus in it. So if we wanted to say we had a second one, and so that say went to Beal Secondary School here in London, we gave one and we gave $200 to that one. So you can list more than one. Do you plan to give the same or different scholarship this year? This just helps us to better understand kind of what societies are thinking. So if we said yes, we could go to here. We're going to go to the next. So if you have a youth program, this is where we need you to fill in your youth information. So send OHA youth communication by email, mail, or do not send. So we have some societies who maybe have 1 or 2 kids in all of their society. There's children of a member, for example. They don't have an official youth program. And so maybe they would like to see information come through because it's fun to share it with those parents for their children, but we don't need to have we don't have official programs. You could choose to receive it by email, by mail, or do not send. So on here, I'm going to say yes, and I'm going to pretend I'm the youth coordinator. And so our youth membership is $5. Our youth club fee is $1. And so our youth leadership name is here. And I'm going to habits here. So our police check number. Youth leaders are required to have a police check on a yearly basis. So we don't need you to send us the formal police check that you receive. We would need the police check number. It's up to the society to validate that a police check has been done for their youth leader. And we just want the date of it. So we're going to put in our number.
I have a question, Kelly.
Sure.
Is there any way we can print out the empty pages before we fill them in so we can review all the information needed?
What I can do is I can ask Tim to run me, I think Tim might hopefully still on. When we were doing all of this proofing and editing, he can send it to me with blank fields. If Tim could do that again for me on this final one, then I could send that out to all societies and the district directors.
That's something I can work on.
Awesome, that would be great. I'm just going to make a note.
Do we need a youth leader when we only have 2 youth?
Are these youth individuals coming with their parents to the meetings?
Wendy Schmidt, would you like to answer that?
So what I can share is that if you have a youth program where you are offering special programming where the parents are not there with them, you absolutely need a youth leader and you need a police check and you need an official program in place. If you have some youth coming that are coming with mom and dad and are with mom and dad the whole night and just happen to be at the meeting, I would say you do not need a formal youth program or leader.
Does OMAFA or the OHA pay for the police check?
The OHA offers a grant through our website. You can go to resources and I think it's forms. I don't want to click off this page, but down here under youth, if you can see that, resources youth, and you will see all of our youth documents. There is a grant that you can put in a request for and get reimbursed for your up to a certain dollar value. I want to say it's 75 if I recall, up to a max. And so those are available for youth leaders just to offset that cost.
Wendy answered that there's none actually attend the meetings, but they are enrolled through their parents.
Yeah, so in that case, if you don't have an official youth program and a youth leader with a police check, parents may not drop off those youth without they need to be present. They need to be there and be accountable for their children. If you're going to have,
sorry.
go ahead. If you're going to have a program where the parents are allowed to drop the kids off and you do a fun little activity, that's a youth program and you need a youth program and a youth leader.
Is the police check annually, even though it is the same person for several years?
Yes, it is annually. A lot can happen in a year.
Wendy says, excellent, thank you.
Thank you. So our youth club report, any special comments? This is a great place to add ideas or suggestions that you might be helpful for other clubs. We have wonderful youth committee where we have co-youth leaders right now for the OHA, and they are working hard on this program. And so if you have some great ideas or suggestions that they could share with other youth groups, I know they would love that. Go to the next pane. Volunteer hours. So here's where your society can add. So this is something your society has been tallying up all year. Most groups have been keeping track of this. So this shouldn't be too onerous for any society to put in. So enter a number from, so this is community events, hours spent working at local fairs, community outreach programs, plant sales. So we're going to say we spent 25, executive board and monthly meetings. So if you spent 2 hours a month at these meetings, times 12, there's 24 hours, executive board and committee planning. So this is record hours spent on administration and planning of events and meetings. So that can take as many hours as it does to actually have the meeting. So we're going to say 24. Flower shows and garden tours. We didn't do a flower show, but our society did a tour. So we're going to say that that took 15 hours to organize and prepare. Administration of planning, planting and maintenance. So we did community gardening this year, and we had a lot of helpers this year because we were able to get things going. So we put 125 hours in. Special events, so workshops, seminar courses, the district AGM, OHA convention hosting. So planning, volunteering, or representing a society as a delegate. So if you came to the OHA AGM and represented your society, you could count those hours in. So I'm going to say 5 hours. Yearbook, newsletter, website, or social media. If your society has been participating in that, you can capture those hours in here. Youth activities. We have a youth program as my club, so I'm going to say we spent 25 hours this year. Breakdown of hours spent on activities not covered above, so maybe fundraising, or if you have a library. So we're just going to say we've had 5. Total hours reported, so all the hours I have put in automatically calculate themselves in here. So this is where you are now at the end of the report. This is where you would say, is the report complete? Yes or no? So in this instance, we're going to say yes, and we're going to complete the report. I'm going to go back to the slide deck and I'm going to show you how you would save this. So then we would submit.
Kelly, I have a couple questions about volunteer hours. We compiled for the calendar year, not the fiscal year. Is that okay?
I would say it is fine as long as you are consistent with your reporting.
Should the volunteer hours be based on fiscal year or year end?
Well, it would be easier to do if it is based on your fiscal year. So if it was November 1 to October 31, for example, that would make sense to calculate your hours that way. That way everything automatically just flows.
That's it for now, Kelly.
Okay, so I'm going to go back to the presentation. So we are through this page. We're going to go. So like I said, things to note when entering your contact. Please use the contact email you wish to be contacted at. I have, to be really perfectly honest, received some less than polite emails asking me, why are you still sending me this information to this email when I told you last year? So I have gone back to those societies. Please ensure you have the most up-to-date contact information, please. We are happy to forward this on to whatever email is needed, but we need your help in making sure we get that updated contact information. It is requested yearly. I refresh my contact list every year. And so once we pull all this data, usually it's around the end of February before I get the stragglers in and make sure I have everything done and I can start pulling the data into required spreadsheets that I need. And one other thing, I've had experiences over the years where I had the entire society, everybody lived in the same PO box and had the same phone number. So that was one really tight-knit society. But that is not okay. We need, if the officers are identified on the form and there's 5, I need the officers to all provide their contact information so we can reach them when required. Myself needs to reach them. Sometimes our president needs to reach out. Our treasurer may need to reach out. So it's really helpful to have that updated information. So this is where you wanted to know how to save an annual information report to complete later. So down here at the bottom where we just were, you're going to see that where it says, is this report complete? So that's where I would say no. And then I would click save and continue later. So by doing that, you're going to get this notification here that says, thank you for saving and continuing later. So this link right here, this is incredibly important that you hang on to this link. So you can copy it and then you can put it in an email. You need to hang on to that link in order for you to be able to access it. So it's always safer to make sure you have that before you put your email address in here. So you must add an email address in here and it will send you a link. But as a safety net, I always suggest that you copy this here and put it somewhere, and just to make sure. It's always better to be safe than sorry. So then when you will receive an email similar to this one. So this is one that I received after doing one a week ago when Tim and I were doing some testing. And so this is what you will receive. And so this link here, you just have to click that link when you're ready to finish it, and it will take you back into your report, and everything should be there. We would definitely suggest you check your spam, your junk, or even your promotions folder. That's where I found mine. For if you don't see it come into your main inbox. We have questions, Kathy?
You must be logged back in to the OHA.
That's a good point. Thank you for bringing that forward, Kathy. Before you click this link, go to the Garden Ontario webpage, get yourself logged in, and then that link works just fine. Are there other questions there, Kathy?
Nope.
So tips and tricks for society and club support. Consult the annual information report guidebook on the OHA website. So when you first go to the webpage, you're going to see this link here. This has been updated for you. So in that, I'm going to just click on it here. Take you to it for one quick second so you can see.
The email is the
There we go.
person who is completing the form.
Pardon me?
The question was, the email is the person who is completing the form or the generic email of the society?
There was a number of email fields. I'm not really sure which one you're talking about.
I think the one about going back in to complete the form.
Oh, it's the person that is completing the form. So whoever needs the form, he needs to be able to get back in, is the email that needs to go in. So if I was the one creating the form, I would put my email address in there. So here's that link that I was telling you about, latest guide and support here. And so this has all of the information that we have talked about. And so this is actually all you need, Tim. I don't think we actually need to recreate that, because I took screen caps of all the various sections that need to be completed, and there are high-level notes for you through here. So as you scroll down, here are all the sections of the report. So this would actually be your best bet to use for societies, which would allow you to see what information is required. So this was updated last weekend, so everybody should be able to have access to this off that main page once you get your login and password. So when you use the save and continue function, you must use the link that arrives in the email to get you back to your partially completed report. If you don't see your entries after entering a save and continue link, put your cursor into the fields to see if your previously entered data repopulates the form. We hope that that doesn't happen. If you have any issues, please let the website coordinator know if you're having any problems. If you do a save and continue your work and do not find the email with your link in your inbox, please check your junk or spam folder. So tips and tricks. If you make an error on your submitted report, no worries. Notify the OHA secretary, so that notify me, and I can make those edits on the society's annual information report. I like to do them myself. I appreciate the district directors wanting to help, but then I don't always know if a report has been edited, and if numbers have changed, then that puts out our master list when it comes to invoicing and membership numbers. So I would prefer to have that sent to me. If you need help getting this, we would suggest if you could ask a district director, you could ask another district director, one of your team members, like the communications person for your society. We have regional representatives for the OHA, people who take care of your e-newsletters or your Zoom links for meetings. Usually are pretty good on the computer. So there's also another resource for help is your local computer tech. Rely on them to increase your computer operations knowledge. Lastly, we know that some of you get frustrated as you are moving through because this is very different for some of you. This is work that you have not traditionally been accustomed to doing, and so we appreciate your stepping up and doing this for your society. We would suggest sometimes taking a break and looking at it with fresh eyes the next day or at another time. Helps a lot in order to be able to just move through. There are other questions or comments, Kathy?
Yes. Can you print that form to fill in by hand before you do it online?
You may not print the form out, it's all electronic, but that link that I just showed you on that main page, which has your how-to little booklet, you can print that and you could fill that out with pen.
And then, sorry, Kelly, but that explanation of reviewing the empty pages didn't make sense to me.
Okay, so let me just go back into the form here. I'll just quickly show you. I'm just gonna shrink this down so I can see my tabs. So if I go in here to create, so here, if I start typing in, some of the fields will pre-populate. I'll just say no. Here we go. So do you see how I have a pop-up box here and there's addresses in there? So you might be able, that might come up for you, especially if I have various things in here, but you might be able to have it pop up and pre-populate your fields again for you. It has like a memory, it has cookies in it and it will remember form fields. Is there any other better explanation, Tim, that I can give? Sure, if Tim's still
No,
on.
that was great.
Okay. Hopefully that helps.
If the report is done before February 1st, then the DD can do the editing as I review all returns prior to February 1st.
If that is the case, absolutely, that would be wonderful.
Our treasurer is changing at the end of this year. Who do I enter? The treasurer for 2022 or 2023?
So the information in here is for the new board. So so I'm not going to pull this data until February, so I need to know who I can contact. At that point, it'll be for the current year, so it'll be who is in the new board.
Yeah, and she continues, our treasurer is changing at the end of this year. Do you enter this new treasurer's information or the treasurer for 2022?
So I won't be pulling these reports until February at the very earliest. So if your treasurer is leaving at the end of this year, then I would say you would put your new treasurer in there because I won't even see that information until February.
How often can one save and continue later?
I've never been asked that question. Tim, would you have any thoughts on that?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
How often can one save and continue later?
Oh, as many times as you like.
Lifetime members that we have lost contact with, phone number and address in previous years list is no longer active. Are they just removed from the list?
From a life member list?
Yes.
That's up to the society. If you have an individual that you have lost contact with, but could resurface if they show up at a meeting and they're not considered a life member anymore because you haven't paid your dollar, minimum $1 for them, then they won't have insurance. So if they were to trip and fall, should be fine. We've never had an issue with our insurance carrier covering guests when they come to our meetings. So that it's a situation where that is left up to the society. We're not going to mandate when you deem a life member. If they are sadly in a nursing home and you know that they're unfortunately not going to be able to join you at meetings anymore, you could take them off the life member list if you don't think they're going to be able to come. Or if they've moved, I know I've received notification for people that have moved out to BC and, they've had to be removed off lists. So that's kind of a society decision.
Kathy Booman said, that is why you must log in before you go to the link that you have been sent, or else your report will be blank again and it will recall your original info, but it's frustrating.
Thank you,
So-
Kathy. I appreciate you bringing that forward. That's a good point.
Could you confirm that guests at meetings are covered under our insurance?
Yes, they are.
The hours you enter for an executive meeting is the cumulative total for all the executive members that have attended in 2022?
Correct. It's a society number, not an individual. So if you know you have, I just made it up because I was doing it, but if you have a check-in meeting, you would know, okay, I have 6 of you round. We always kept a little tiny notebook. And so every meeting, somebody was accountable for doing the volunteer hours and they would just make a note. So they knew very quickly how many hours were put in at any particular meeting.
That's all the questions I have so far.
Okay, I'm gonna just jump over to our 50-50 draw. As you know, Garden Ontario, or OHA, has created an official 50-50 draw. We are moving into our 3rd draw. So it happens on December 16th. Tickets purchased support our education for youth and adults, environmental programs, awards and grants assisting with pollinators, tree plantings and community beautification, post-secondary scholarships. So this money definitely goes to help towards programs and benefits that benefit all of our society and members. We thank you for purchasing a ticket. Your support is vital in assisting us with these programs. You can find our OHA 50-50 draw information on our Garden Ontario website address. There is a link there that takes you right to a raffle box page where you can purchase tickets using a Visa or even a debit card online. We would like to announce, as you may have seen, our first draw winner was our past president, Rose Odell. That was very exciting for her. She won $2,637.50 in our first draw on July 15th. Our second draw winner was Catherine Howitt on September 16th, and she won $3,475. So we encourage you to get tickets, and we look forward to posting our third winner just less than 2 weeks before Christmas. So don't miss out on your chance to get some tickets. So I'm the OHA secretary, as I said, and my email is ohasecretary@gmail.com. So if you need to reach me, that is my direct email address. If you want to send me an email, I can respond to you. Most societies have that in their records, but just wanting to provide that. I'm going to stop sharing here for 1 second. I'm going to bring up the next presentation. We're going to have a short presentation by Charlene Desjardins, who is our first vice president, as well as our awards coordinator. Charlene does a tremendous job supporting our societies. And so I am going to...
Kelly, I have a thanks, Kelly, for a great presentation.
Oh, thank you very much. Just going to stop sharing for 1 second here. Well, when all else fails, unplug the other monitor. There we go. Are you on, Charlene?
I am.
Okay, take it away.
Oh, I thought you were running my slideshow.
I am, yeah. You tell me when you want.
Oh, if you want to just start it, that would be good.
Can you see it?
No, I could see
Okay.
it before you shut it down.
Here we go.
There we go. All right, so this is going to be fairly quick since everybody's already been sitting here for an hour. Horticultural service certificates and judging exhibiting certificates. These are available 2 per society or club per year. No, doesn't matter how many members you have. You could have 50, you could have 500. You're still able to get 2 per society per year. These are not being utilized the way they should be. I could have up to 1,000 a year and I get about 30. So would definitely love to see more people, more societies applying for these. The application form has to be completed and sent to me anytime throughout the year. There is no deadline for these. Date of presentation, when you want to present it, has to be included. Certificates are created by myself and the seal of the association is fixed. Please allow sufficient time for creating and mailing, and certificates may only be given once to any member. Okay, Kelly? For the youth, youth certificates are available to honor youth in your society or club. Templates are available online and are inscribed by the society. We also have the Rita Caldwell Youth Environmental Award. Applications for that one are available online, must be submitted to the youth chair at youth@gardenontario.org on or before February 28th. And the Youth Project Grant, applications for that are available online. There's up to 3 grants available at $150 each. And also check out the Youth Convention competition schedule in the awards book or on the Garden Ontario website under the convention details to try and get your youth involved. Okay. Society and District Awards. There's the Life Membership Award at the society level. Dues must still be paid by the society for the member recognized. The Society President's Award is available online, must be inscribed by the society, and that is a template so you can put in there what you want to write. For the District Appreciation Award, the templates are available to the district directors from the supplies coordinator. Certificate is inscribed by the district. For the District Service Award, and we did well this year, we got 17 out of 19 districts, so that was nice. The nominations for those are sent to the district director, not to me, no later than January 20th. And the district director, not their designate, must submit the winning recipient to the awards coordinator on or before February 15th. Date of presentation must be included, and that award will be shipped directly to the district director for presentation.
Charlene, I have a question on the service certificate. Can we request for prior years?
I mean, the District Appreciation Award, those ones are online. So those are just a template. You can fill them out any way you like. There is no limit on those. You want to try and keep the integrity of the certificate, but those don't go to the awards coordinator or the committee. The society just fills them out and hands them out. They are signed by usually the society president and secretary, I believe. Okay. Oh, wait, where am I? Okay. For awards, all of the following awards are available for application or nomination. You can read them all there. They're all in the book. Applications, all the forms are available on the Garden Ontario website. And we would ask you to please consider nominating a worthy member of your society or your community, because some of those awards can be given to community members as well. There has to be worthy members in all societies and communities, and we'd really like to see more applications come in. Okay. Go ahead, Kelly.
There's a question that just came in.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was asking for the one for the OHA where we have a limit of 2 per society per year.
Oh, the horticultural service certificates and judging exhibiting certificates. No, I mean, you can't go backwards, but you can nominate people that have been in your society for years. I'm not sure what you mean by
Can
what
we
you
request,
asked.
yeah, can we request for prior years if that has not been done, is what the question was before.
Well, you can give out, no, like if your society didn't give any out for 2014 or 2020, no, we can't go back and give 2 for 2020 and 2 for 2022 or 23. But you can nominate anybody that you feel is worthy. But no, we can't go back in years.
Can you nominate 2 people at the same time for the Community Improvement Award, joint award?
Well, there's only one award because that one is a plaque. I mean, we could put 2 names on it, but who gets it?
Yeah.
There's only one plaque. So if it was a husband and wife that you were nominating that lived in the same household, I could probably get 2 names put on it. But no, we don't do 2 plaques if it's 2 different people. You can nominate 2 separate people, but only one would win if it was either one of those 2 people that were winning.
That's all the questions I have so far.
Go ahead, Kelly. OHA grants. Okay, the CD Saturday grant application is coming up. Deadline for this grant is November 15th. Up to 4 grants of up to $250 each. When you apply by November 15th, we have a meeting on November 24th to make decisions. And then the following week, people would be notified. This grant has been opened up for all societies and clubs to be able to apply, even if you held an event previously. So if you're thinking about this, please check out the new application form on the Garden Ontario website. It's dated June 2022. If you go there and that is not the date on the form, please just contact me and I will send you the correct copy. Special project and environmental grants, we have up to 4 of $1,000 each. Community garden grants are up to 3 of up to $500 each. The pollinator garden grants, we have up to 10, up to $200 each. Please consider applying. Your community will definitely thank you. Deadline for all of these applications is on or before February 28th. Our awards committee meeting is usually March 7th, 8th, and around that, and within the following week, all recipients would be notified by letter. Okay. Go ahead, Kelly. Or did you already? Oh, you did. No, sorry, go back. Other grants, tree grants, up to 20 grants of up to $300 each. The technical advancement grants right now up to 6 of $250 each. And the youth grants are up to 50 grants of up to $75 each. All 3 of these grants work on a first come, first served basis. However, the youth grants are accepted throughout the entire year. There's no deadline on those ones. For the tree grants, the technical advancement grants, all the grants start January 1st. So I do not accept applications before January 1st for all of the grants up to February 28th or until the grant is filled. Letters of approval will be sent out as soon as the applications are received for these particular grants if all your paperwork is there. And once the grant maximum has been reached, the application process will be closed. Now, those of you that are still here, I will let you know the technical advancement grant for 2022 filled up within 5 minutes of it opening. So if you are planning to apply for this grant, I would suggest at midnight you hit send and then you do your New Year's kisses. Because if you do your New Year's kisses first, you may not get in on this grant.
Charlene,
Yes.
would a proposed native medicine healing garden qualify for an environmental grant? If not, what would it qualify for?
We actually just had a grant given out. It was a medicine wheel garden, and I believe it was a special project grant that that they got.
Okay.
And it's absolutely stunning.
And can you give an example of what a technical advancement grant would be for?
So the technical advancement grants, you have your choice when you look at the application form. You could either use it for a Zoom subscription if you wanted to do meetings by Zoom. You could also use it for technical equipment such as, you know, a projector or a microphone or something like that to be able to have workshops and speakers in your society. So.
That's it for the questions.
Okay.
Right now.
So please be sure to read through all the required criteria for each of the award and grant you're thinking of applying for or nominating someone for. Follow all the deadlines as marked. There will be no exceptions. Please ensure all the required paperwork is included in your application when submitting it, such as insurance certificates, your photos, plant lists, whatever is required for that particular grant. Now for the CD Saturday grants, because we have some applications already for those, the insurance certificate is not available yet. So just send in your current certificate. The insurance certificates that would be required for when you're going to hold your CD event will not be available until mid-December. So as long, all the grants would go out conditional on providing that certificate as soon as you can get it. But the insurance company isn't giving them out yet for those dates in 2023, and we understand that. If you have not received a notice within 2 weeks from me that your application has been received, please contact me and confirm that I have it. Sometimes they get lost in cyberspace. If there's less than 2 weeks remaining until the deadline, please contact me and tell me that you have sent it in so that I can watch for it, so that I know. If you don't hear from me in, you know, a couple of days, let me know again, because once the deadline is here, it's here. As always, if you have any questions or concerns, please contact me at ohaboard17@gmail.com, and my phone numbers are there. Feel free to email me, call me. I check my email often, so I will respond to you fairly quickly unless I'm away.
I have a question.
Okay.
Are you saying then that there is no grant for a new native medicine garden? The only grant has already been awarded?
No, 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 no. No, you can apply. I would suggest applying as probably a special project grant instead of environmental. Environmental is more biodiversity, rehabilitation, that kind of stuff. The medicine garden would probably be more towards a special project grant, but no, by all means, please, yes, apply for it. Just apply under a special project grant. You can look at them too and see, it's going to depend on your location, what it is that you're doing, where it's going. My suggestion, just based on what you're saying, would be special project grant. If you feel with location and stuff, it would be better suited to environmental, then by all means, put it in. If I get it and I feel like it would have a better chance under special project, I would let you know. But yes, we could have 20, you know, medicinal gardens, native gardens. Yes, by all means, please submit.
mentioned that it could take 2 to 3 weeks to get a grant check after the requirements are sent in.
Oh, yes, then Marion probably put that one in there.
Yeah, she did.
Yes. Yeah, I was supposed to mention that and I forgot. So, so when you send in your reimbursement paperwork, the paperwork comes to me to make sure everything is in order and gets approved. From me, it goes to Marion Heil, our treasurer. She sends everything out to the officers for approval. Once we get approval, it has to go for a second signature. And then if there's a sign or anything that has to be involved with it. So give us probably a month to get your check. So if you're looking for checks for year end, before year end, don't send them mid-October. If your year end is October 31st, you won't get your check in time. After a month, you know, you can send me an email and we'll check and see what the condition is of your reimbursement, but definitely give us time. It has to go to a lot of places before it goes back to you. So thank you very much for taking the time to submit your applications and nominations. I'm certainly looking forward to receiving many this year. I'm sure there are many deserving individuals in your societies, clubs, and communities that are worthy of recognition. I also thank you for applying for grants to beautify your communities, provide food for those that may be struggling, provide shelter for our pollinators, and assist in biodiversity. I will also tell you that if there's any of you that have not yet requested horticultural service certificates or judging and exhibiting certificates, and you still want to do so for 2022, as long as your presentation date is before December 31st of 2022, please send those applications to me. I will get your certificates out to you. That's everything I have, Kelly.
Thank you, Charlene. Great opportunities.
Thank you. Oh, somebody, Jackie Clark has raised a hand.
Do we have any last questions before we wrap tonight up?
Are you there, Jackie? She can't speak. I can't hear you.
I don't know. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, yay. I've never used this system before. It's a little confusing. I just wanted to know, will we have access to your PowerPoint presentation here? Like, are we going to be able to get a copy of this to review later?
Which for either or presentation, this presentation tonight is being recorded, so we will have this on our Garden Ontario website in the next few days where societies can access it. I will check in with Charlene, but I don't foresee a problem why we could not share these slide decks with our district directors and with our societies.
Oh, no, I'm
Yeah.
fine with that. Yes.
Yeah, that would be great. It'd be very helpful.
Excellent.
Thank you.
I have a question for Tim. Websites for specific societies. It seems like individual societies information doesn't come up when you put it into a Google search parameter. Why is that?
I would have to double check, but most likely it's just has not been indexed by Google yet, or Google is just not indexing it properly, or they're just putting it way at the back of their search results. So that's something I'd have to look into a little bit more to get you a specific answer.
And then thank you so much for all the information this evening.
Thank you all for coming. We really appreciate your time to come and to share and ask questions, and we look forward to seeing these reports come in. Like I said, Tim is our new website coordinator, so we ask for patience as he gets himself familiar with this process. This is his first run and kick at the can at doing our annual information reporting and all of our login and password resets. So please be patient, and we will try to get things turned around in say 3 to 5 business days, giving him time to get all of these processed. Okay.
When will the
Ken?
report? When will,
Kelly,
the-
oh,
excuse me,
sorry.
when will the report form be coming out to societies?
Well, that is a very exciting thing. Tim and I have worked very hard over the last couple of weeks, and I am proud to say that it is ready to go today. So if societies are ready to go, they can go onto the site and they can start entering their annual information reports. Good work, Tim.
Well,
Kelly, it's Ann Harbord. Ellen Goodness has her hand up.
Is there a question?
Can I speak?
Yep, go ahead.
Oh, yes, hi. We've created a unique situation this year where our president is stepping down and becoming past president, but we do not now have a president, we have a vice president. And we're splitting the jobs kind of like a committee, but it really isn't.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how I'm going to fill out the form.
I would say a committee is probably your best bet. We need somebody that will act as like the key liaison as far as receiving information from the association and or your district directors.
Okay.
I think committee is probably your best route.
And then I just list everybody based on the name and what their titles will be. Okay. And that would
Okay.
just be recording secretary, treasurer,
Yeah.
vice president and past president.
Yeah, and so I've had a handful of societies reach out to me with very unique situations where I needed to add an additional person from a contact perspective. So I can add them as a co-president, for example. And so if there is a really unique situation that 100% does not fit what we have as far as our form, feel free to reach out to me directly and we can kind of walk through it, okay?
Okay, thank you very much. Okay.
Kelly, could I just mention one more thing?
For sure.
I know some societies, I think, have grant, probably in award applications just printed and sitting. We changed all the forms. The district directors no longer have to sign any of the forms. So if you are using one of those forms, please don't. Please go to the website and get the newest form that you, that's there. Yes, that's everything.
Last call for questions.
There's no questions here.
Okay, Charlene, you can wrap us up.
All right, well, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank everyone for attending tonight. We did have over 100 people, so that was wonderful to see. I'm glad everybody stayed. I hope the information was helpful to you, and we hope to maybe see you in the spring for a spring information session.
Happy fall, everyone. Take care and drive safe. Stay well.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Thank you.